Okay, I think we got the audio. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, April 14th, and I just want to thank everyone for coming this evening and spending time with us.
Hi, this is the interpreter speaking. There's a very bad echo and we're not able to hear anything clearly.
Yep, we're working on it. Thank you.
I'll start over in a minute. Hello, hello. Check, check.
It's working.
Okay. Okay, thanks everybody for your patience. And again, I want to thank you all for coming and joining us this evening. Right now, the meeting of Commission 5D will begin at 7:05 p.m. Secretary, would you mind doing the attendance, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Roll call.
We'll go
Thank you.
by single member district. So
Yes.
5D01, I'm here. 5D02,
Present.
5D03 is not present. I believe she said she would be a few minutes late. 5D04, not present. 5D05,
Present.
5D06.
Present.
Ooh, I can't hear you, McCray.
Present.
Now I
Can you hear me?
Great.
Okay. All right.
Yes, fabulous. Thank you. 5D07 is not present. 5D08 not present. 5D09.
Here.
Okay, so I believe we have quorum because we have 1, 2,
Yep.
3, 4, 5 commissioners. Great.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Chovy. Okay, so now the agenda has been distributed. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Madam Chairwoman, I know Commissioner G. Campbell would like to add a resolution to our voting action items. Commissioners, I happen to share it for Commissioner G. Campbell via email, and Andy is printing it out for us that's here present. But Commissioner, if you wanted to discuss what the resolution is about, so people are aware, so we can make that decision.
Hello, everyone. The resolution is about getting voting machines at Brown Elementary in my single member district. And so that's actually 5D09 and also part of 5D07 and 8. So we can have the seniors and some people who's not driving, they can be able to go and vote. It's more closer for them. And we used to have it before at Brown and 2, they took it away. So that's the resolution is about, to be able to get voting machines back at Brown Elementary so we can be able to vote in that corridor area.
Discussion,
And
Discussion to,
discussion. I just wanna ask, have you talked about it with the school and are they with it?
yeah, I have spoken to someone already, but I'm gonna talk because my baby boy going to Brown. So when school start back on Monday, I'm gonna go and talk to the principal. She's very nice. So I don't think she'll have a problem with it. So I'm gonna definitely talk to her this Monday coming up. Yeah.
And, if she does have a problem with it, then how would you?
Well, I can ask Two Rivers too, because Two
Uh-huh.
Rivers is very helpful,
Okay.
especially with meetings, when I request for meetings. So I will ask Miss Jackson also. So if one don't work, I'm pretty sure, because they always help, especially at Two Rivers, because that's when we have the community meeting at. I just have to get with them ahead of time so they can be able to prepare themselves. So,
Is that in the resolution? The different schools?
no, because you just asked me to.
I'm sorry. So would you be able to edit your resolution to add both schools, so if one
Yes.
doesn't? Okay, cool.
This is
Did
a
you
critical-
did you wanna put it on the floor to be added to the agenda, or do you want me to do that for you?
You do it for me.
Okay,
Thank you.
understood. I move that we amend tonight's agenda to include the resolution presented by Commissioner G. Campbell regarding voting machines being available at Brown Elementary.
And we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner McCray. A vote.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I can-
Secretary, can you do a
Sure
a
thing.
roll call vote? Thank you.
Okay, the roll call on the motion to add this resolution to the agenda. 5D01, I vote aye. 5D02,
Aye.
skipping 5D03 and 5D04 since they're not here. 5D05,
Aye.
5D06,
Aye.
skipping 5D07, 5D08 since they're not here. 5D09.
Aye.
Great. Motion passes 5-0.
Right, so the agenda is approved as amended.
Do we have to remove some? I think the grant proposal by DC natives, I think we need to remove that from the agenda.
Okay,
Am I correct, Commissioner McCray?
Yes, we will be removing that. Sorry, I just pulled up the agenda now. Yeah.
okay,
So we ran that through the OANC and it is not permissible. So we will be removing that.
And do we have anyone here for DOB or anything regarding the Safeway closure?
Commissioner.
So I guess I see Mr. Crawford in the attendees list. So we do have someone from DOB. I was told by Councilmember Parker that we should have someone from DIMPED up here. So I guess putting the call out to the attendees right now, if you could just drop it in the Q&A or in the chat if you're in the room to speak in regards to Safeway or Heckinger Mall. There was a call out for that. So if someone is in the attendees list, if you could just make yourself known so that we can make sure that is happening today.
So you're saying DOB is here, but nobody to talk about the Safeway is here?
I think they confirm, yes, that's correct, that some of the DOB is available.
Mm-hmm.
But unless Ms. Lovelace knows if someone from this regarding the Safeway closures here, we can amend the agenda one last time before we continue.
Okay.
If we could keep it on there, I'm gonna send a message to see if we can see if someone's gonna join. I was told someone would join, so I don't want to cross that off the list yet.
Okay.
So just so I move that we remove the grant proposal for DC News from voting action items from tonight's agenda. Can I get a second on that motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner G. Campbell. Do you want to do the vote or Commissioner Chovy?
Commissioner Chovy, can you
Sure.
do the vote?
Yeah. 5D01, I vote aye. 5D02.
Aye.
5D03, I saw that Commissioner Roblin is here now. How do you vote?
Commissioner Roberts having some technical difficulties,
Okay.
so she will not be able to vote yet.
Yeah, they have to make themselves present before they come into a vote.
Okay, fair enough.
Mhm.
Moving on, skipping 5D04, 5D05,
Aye, yes.
5D06.
Aye.
You vote. Okay. 5D07 and 5D08, we skip. 5D09.
Aye.
Great. Motion passes.
Any more changes to the agenda? No? So the agenda is approved. Do we have to put the motion on the
Yes,
floor?
ma'am.
Okay. I move that we approve the agenda
As
as amended. Can I get a second?
Second.
Great, that motion has passed.
Those in favor,
Oh,
say those in favor,
those in
say aye.
favor, say aye.
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 Those
Aye.
opposed? Those opposed? Okay, great, the ayes have it. We have the adoption of the agenda. Is Commissioner Robert, you're still having issues? Can you come off mute? Okay. All right, Commissioner Chovy, do you want to do the adoption of the minutes?
Sure. So the March meeting minutes were sent
Not
around, or say that again?
It's been recommended to move the March minutes to the following month.
Oh, okay. So should we skip
Yeah.
just voting on that? Okay,
Thank you.
sure.
Can we add just a quick note, just for the purposes of the QFR, that the March minutes will be circulated in the month of April, so we will approve them in May, just so that we have that just noted for the record.
Do we have to vote on that?
No, just
No.
for the minutes.
Okay,
Yeah. More
Alright.
administrative, just to cover ourselves.
okay, that's fine. Okay, and now we're gonna do the treasury report.
Yes, so give me 1 second and I will share screen. Okay. So this is the FY 26 Q2 QFR report. Hold tight, let me just make sure. Hold on. I don't know if I'm allowed to share. I don't have the permissions.
Andy, can
But-
you give? Let's see if we can get you some help.
Okay.
I clicked allow, so maybe you can share now.
All right, cool. That's perfect. I can do it now. So let me know when you all can see my screen.
We can see it.
Yeah.
All right. So for the FY26 Q2 QFR, that covers the months of January, February, and March of 2026. So just to go through kind of each month really quick and then go through the QFR, is the plan right now. So January, we had a beginning balance of $36,187.17 with an ending balance of $35,679.23. The expenditures during January were for our admin and communications consultants, as well as the 1099 tax forms and the remaining January Verizon Fios bills. On the QFR, what will be noted is that we had a return for the Lowe's trash pickers from the December order that was never complete. Now for the month of February, at a beginning balance of $35,679.23 with an ending balance of $40,284.25. The month of February, our expenditures were on social media, admin, and our historian project. Worked for all of those items, and we received our district allotment for the quarter, as well as the technology reimbursement for our OWL hybrid equipment. For the month of March that just ended, we had a beginning balance of $40,284.25 with an ending balance of $44,644.14. During the month of March, we purchased the Ring subscription, we had our Verizon Fios bill paid, and we spent funds on our social media and admin consultant work, and we also received our OANC allotment for the quarter during the month end as well. So just as a quick overview for Q2, we had a beginning balance of $36,187.27 with an ending balance of $44,644.14. Just to note again, we did receive both our Q2 and Q3 OANC allotments. We received funds for our OANC technology reimbursement, and we had a cancel Lowe's purchase. Some of the funds spent, well, all of the funds spent were on our historian, social media, admin, consultant, Ring, Verizon, Fios purchases, as well as the tax miscellaneous for the 1099 miscellaneous forms. So I'll pause just to see if there's any questions. All right, so
Great.
if no questions, what I'm gonna do is I move to approve the FY26 Q2 quarterly financial report. And I'll just pause to see if I can get a second.
Can we get a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sosada Guzman.
Madam
Commissioner-
Secretary.
Sure.
Thank
5D01, I vote aye. 5D02,
Aye.
5D03, are you able to vote? Okay, I'll hold off on that one. Moving on, 5D05,
Aye.
5D06,
Aye.
and 5D09.
Aye.
Okay, vote passes with 5 ayes.
All right,
Okay.
and I do have another item under the kind of treasurer section. One of the other items under the treasurer section is a request we received from the OANC. It is a request for ANC 5D to designate the OANC as agent related to the accounting system maintenance. So basically, in order to avoid any disruption with us receiving our quarterly allotments, we have to allow the OANC to do kind of a direct debit, and we just need to, I just wanted to make sure we're in kind of lock sync with that. I'm not sure if we had to vote on it. It was kind of unclear based on the email to me. But basically, I just want to make sure we're all in kind of sync to say that the OANC is allowed to continue direct deposits to our, to give us our quarterly allotment, and to make sure that we're all in sync with that. But I guess maybe we do put it for a vote just to make sure, just to cover ourselves just in case. I do have to respond to an email in the affirmative. So I just kind of want to make sure that every base is covered there. So I'll pause just to see if there's any questions. It was kind of it was a newer request for me. So just want to make sure to see if any commissioners have questions or if anyone in the public has questions.
So is this gonna be, I have a question. Is this gonna be an extra step for you, or is it extra protection, or exactly what is it gonna do?
I think it's just making sure that we get our OANC allotment in the similar way that we've been getting it, so it makes it easier for all of us, so that we don't have to get a check or anything like that. That is at least how I understand. Yeah, it would be a direct deposit to kind of the bank account. So once we vote in the affirmative to kind of continue with business as usual is how I understood it.
Okay. That's it for me. Any more questions?
No, as long as it's helping you, Commissioner McCray, rather than posing another obstacle for you, then I'm in favor.
Yeah, no. I think this is helpful. It keeps everything as business as usual, doesn't change anything. So
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I move to request for ANC 5D to designate the OANC as agent related to dis and pass accounting system maintenance. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right.
Second from Commissioner G. Campbell.
Roll call
Yes.
5D01, aye. 5D02,
Aye.
5D03. Are you able to vote?
I would refrain
Moving.
from the vote until they announce themselves.
Okay.
Okay, so, yeah.
Moving on. 5D05,
Aye.
5D06,
Aye.
and 5D09.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes.
Great. So do you have anything else as far as the treasury report or anything treasury related? Commissioner McCray?
Nope. All good from my end.
Okay, thank you. So now we'll start on the committee reports. And let's start with the trash and beautification committee. Do anybody have any reports?
Yes, this Commissioner Rollins here, they might not.
Okay. Commissioner Robin, can you make yourself present for this meeting, or you're still having technical difficulties?
She's still having technical difficulties. We're working on it.
All right, okay.
Can I
All
make
right.
can I make a zoning committee statement?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's actually not that much information. Just wanted to inform folks that the procedure we're following now is that zoning cases, which means folks who are requesting our support or opposition for something that's before the BZA, Board of Zoning Adjustment, or the Zoning Commission, need to be sent to us 1 week before the zoning committee meets. With that in mind, there was a zoning committee meeting scheduled for this Thursday, but we did not receive any requests for supporting or opposing anything before those two bodies. So as chair, I'm canceling this Thursday zoning committee meeting, but the next one is May the 21st, which means that if you have a matter before the BZA or the zoning commission that you'd like to bring before the zoning committee, please send it by May the 14th. To myself, that's 5d01@anc.dc.gov or anc5dzoning@gmail.com. Thanks, folks.
Thank you for keeping up with that.
Sure.
Hey, y'all. Commissioner Roblin, I think, is able to hear and speak now, but her video is not working tonight.
Okay, so the rule is you can't vote if your video is not on. So you can participate in the meeting, Commissioner Robin, you just can't vote unless you can turn your video on. Can you unmute?
I have a public safety update.
Okay.
If
Mhm.
they're not, okay.
Mhm.
For the sake of time, I'll update on the Public Safety Committee. Some residents have been having concerns with some of the drug activity off of Providence Street in Ivy City. They've addressed to the commander and they're collaboratively working together to see how they can address those concerns. It's very clear to many of us that we can't, including the fifth district, that we can't arrest our way out of certain situations. So we're looking to see what other methods we can take as a community to engage some of the crime that we're seeing, the real crime that we're seeing, but sometimes it's very difficult to get rid of based on habits and addictions of people. So that's something happening in Ivy City. We also addressed concerns that I've given to the fifth district a few times now, but now also including Councilwoman Donnie Crawford's office about the illegal dumping in the alley of the 1700 block. No, I'm sorry, the 1600 block of Montello Avenue and Miggs Place. So we're gonna be working collaboratively with their office alongside MPD to address some of the illegal dumping concerns that is right next to a drug den. So there's multiple things happening in this exact alley. And for those of you on the call, this is also that alley where the young boy was killed last summer. So it's a lot of activity happening in this alley. I also report that Commissioner G. Campbell has been working tirelessly with Commissioner Payne from Ward 7, the commission south of Benning Road on our end. And they're working to address concerns of some of those homicides that have been occurring in front of the same establishments and working with the business owners to really target some of these concerns. There was intentions to see how we can close the businesses, but our chairwoman suggested that they speak with the owners and see how they can collaborate together to just stop some of the activity that's happening in front of their businesses. So other than that, those are some of the updates I have for what's happening on community input when it comes to public safety. And my last little spiel is that the public safety meeting will be through the 5th District CAC, and that is Thursday, the 23rd. And Interim Chief Carroll would be there. So for residents that want to speak directly with the Chief of Police right now, that's the perfect opportunity to be at. So we'll send Zoom information because I believe it's on Zoom, but it's already scheduled to be shared with the public. So if you want to be more in touch on that meeting or any of these other public safety matters, feel free to contact me directly at 5D as in dog 05@anc.dc.gov. Thank you.
And I want to add to the public safety, there was a stabbing at Kickaxo Social, which is in Ivy City. 2 people got stabbed. The establishment is closed. And right now I'm working to reach out to the owner or the new owner. But once that happens, then we will talk about some safety. Nothing has happened there over the years. From what I heard, Cardi B was there. There was no issues. Then we get the go-go bands there and we get some stabbings. So, but I'm working with MPD and also I will be contacting the new owner about safety at that establishment. Thanks.
Commissioner Roblin, are you there? Okay, I think it's all committee reports, Chairwoman.
Okay.
Just from the standpoint of the Trash and Beautification Committee, if Commissioner Roblin is unable to speak, I could speak to that later on, but I'll give the opportunity just with some updates on at least when the committee meeting is. But I'll wait just to see if she can speak first before I say anything.
Okay.
It doesn't look like she's connected to
Yeah,
audio right now.
I don't think she's in the
Okay.
call.
We'll keep trying, Commissioner Roblin. So
Did you want to give that update, Commissioner Cray, so we can move on with the rest of the agenda?
Yeah, so I guess just letting the public know the next Trash and Beautification Committee meeting is next Tuesday at 7:15 p.m. It happens via Zoom. You can check out the ANC 5G website. That's where you can find out the Trash and Beautification information. It is on the calendar there. As a reminder, you can always pick up tools. Just make sure to reach out to your single member district commissioner first, and then if not, and if you don't hear any updates, you can always submit an inquiry form via our website so we can make sure you get those tools that you need. But just another plug, the meeting is next Tuesday at 7:15. Please join us. We do have a good lineup for next week. So we're kicking off the spring and we're hitting the ground running hard. So next Tuesday, 7:15, check the ANC 5D website for the Zoom information.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for any of the committee chairs? Andy, are you helping Lieutenant Good get on? Or Lieutenant?
Yep, I'm working on it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Apologies.
Okay. I'm sorry, y'all, excuse me.
Yes, Skip, you had a question?
Per the beautification committee, I went to help work with it. There was one attempt to do stuff, but I forgot what the group's called, but it's people who are supposed to be doing public service. They never showed, so it was canceled. We waited for about an hour, half an hour to an hour, and nobody showed, except the officers who were supposed to be directing them. So I'm sad because it was in my part of the neighborhood, and we have a big trash problem over there.
So was anybody able to clean up?
We couldn't do anything. It was me, it was Commissioner Roblin, and the two officers. That was it. Their people never showed, and none of the other neighbors came out.
Okay.
And I know there was another one scheduled, but by that point I was sick, so I don't know what happened.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes that happens.
I know, I'm just saying, an attempt was made.
Yeah, yeah. That's okay. Okay. So now we're gonna move on to the commissioner's report. Start with Commissioner Chelby, 5D01.
Sure, thank you, Madam Chair. I will make a couple reports for my SMD. So first, I wanted to talk about an issue facing several of my constituents in the Mo apartment building. That they are being kept up till early hours of the morning by extremely loud music from a neighboring business. And I understand that some of them are on this call. So wanted to say that I am aware of this issue. I have been looped in by Mr. Ellis, who I believe is on this call, and who, in my opinion, has been tirelessly advocating for himself and his neighbors on this matter to a multitude of agencies. I want to say that I support all of you in trying to get this resolved. I want to be kept informed with what's going on. Specifically, I have contacted Councilmember Parker's office for further direction, since it seems like there's a lack of clarity on what agencies have jurisdiction and authority here. In particular, it seems to me that if there's any like license violation or regulations being violated, then that needs to be remedied immediately, post haste. The law only matters if we enforce it, right? So I just wanted to make that known publicly. For those of you who are here on this call, who are joining because of that issue, I encourage you to ask questions during our standing presentations. We have a couple standing presentations today, and when that happens, commissioners get to ask questions, but then so does the public. So if you'd like to do that, that's available to you. All right. Thanks, folks. I want to plug an event. I want to plug the Light Reel Film Fest at Angelica Theater, which is going to take place from June 3rd to 6th. And it's going to star films that are made by Black and Indigenous filmmakers, excuse me. I'm going to drop a link to that in the chat when I'm done with my report, but I think that that's a pretty cool event. I'm a little bit of a film buff. Angelica is a cool place. Come and see some interesting movies. Come and see some interesting movies highlighting the perspectives of people of color. Okay, that was my advocate and my plug. Finally, just wanted to say, I have not heard any reports of ICE or federal immigration enforcement activity, but I'm going to make the same recommendation that I made at a previous meeting, which is that to my neighbors, if you do see ICE activity, that you can call DC Migrant Solidarity Mutual Aid. to report that, and they have a network to keep our neighbors safe. That number is 202-335-1183. Again, I haven't heard of anything specific, but I just wanted to share this information. Again, that number is 202-335-1183. All right, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thanks. Any questions for Commissioner Chovy? Okay, great. 5D02, which is me, Ivy City. We had a wonderful and beautiful event last weekend. We had the Easter Bunny, we had the Easter egg hunt. That was our last event at the Cromell School, which is now getting renovated. They shut it down last Monday, so they could start on the outside. I just want to let anyone know from Ivy City, if you're here, to please not let your children hop the fence and play on the equipment. We know about that there are cameras on the site, and DGS and DPR is aware that children is hopping the fence and playing on the equipment. You can get hurt, please stay off the site because there's construction happening. On the 25th, we're gonna have a community cleanup. We're partnering with Empower DC and Ward 8 Woods, and also the Anacostia Watershed Society to do a community cleanup. So please come at 9:30. We will have coffee at the Ivy City Clubhouse starting at 9:30. We will have an EJ walk from 10 to 11. Then at 11, we will meet at the Lewisboro Park so that we can have a press conference. The press conference will be about unveiling the new Don't Litter signs that Nathan Harrington from Ward 8 Woods had gotten done. So we're gonna have some new signs, we're gonna do the unveiling, and we're gonna clean up the community. So if you wanna come out, you wanna get some volunteer time in, also it's Climate Week next week. So if you wanna help out during that week, come to Lewisboro Park, come to the Ivy City Clubhouse at 9:30, have some coffee, do an EJ walk with us, clean up, and then after the cleanup, we will have lunch at the Ivy City Clubhouse, 1900 Capitol Avenue. So if you have big items or anyone have big items, please bring them to Gallaudet, Alexander Camille Way and Kendall Street, and you can put them in the roll off. And that's it for me. 5D03, 5D04, 5D05.
Cool. Hello, everyone. This is Commissioner Salvador here. Just some quick updates and stuff happening in 05 in North Trinidad. The Office of the Attorney General has been meeting with neighbors and establishing a group of business leaders and community members that are trying to spruce up the corridor when it comes to public safety concerns and general code violations or anything of that matter that these businesses might be doing. So one of the requests that I made to the office was the removal of the bus shelter on Mount Olivet Road and Montello Avenue. I'm interested in seeing that the bench stays, but the shelter itself, I sadly will have to admit, after years of fighting this internally for a long time, that the shelter has not been doing more good than bad lately. It's doing more bad than good. And sadly, I think it's something that will actually help improve a little bit of the concerns that we're having there. So they're looking into that with DDOT. Friendly note for all the commissioners and the public: DDOT manages the bus shelters. They are WMATA bus stops, but DDOT manages the shelters. So they, you go through DDOT to get any of these installed or removed at a bus stop. So just friendly note there. We did a series of cleanups throughout March. We tried to do 6, we did 5. We did 5 cleanups in March in North Trinidad in different sections of the neighborhood. We picked up 83 bags of trash, 6 mattresses, and way too many tires. So we got a lot of trash off the streets. A lot of you all know that street sweeping does not occur between the months of November and February, and it comes back at the end of March. So besides the snow, typically we always see an increase of litter and waste on our streets. When these services don't exist, they should be 365, but they're not. So we were happy to use CSOS's volunteers to really get the trash off the streets. I will say, shameless plug to the bare hand folks, but we didn't use any trash pickers to do any of this picking up, this cleaning. So I just want to make that note to some neighbors that say, oh, I need pickers, I need this. You just probably need some gloves and just a little bit of elbow grease if it's something heavy. Luckily, we did have volunteers that needed these hours, so that was a very good motivation to get them to do it. But I just want to remind neighbors, it's not hard just to pick off one piece of trash off the street and just take it to your next litter can when you see it. So just don't think we need all the tools and bags to do this. Besides that, we've been making some moves at the Trinidad Rec Center, particularly working with our seniors. They're helping coordinate this year's Trinidad Day, and I will like to say that DPR has got us to the point where we can now share a date. The date for Trinidad Day is going to be August 22nd. We're really excited to put that together. So if any neighbors or organizations are interested in joining the committee, feel free to let me know. The seniors will be hosting their next meeting on a Saturday. They still haven't decided which Saturday though. So they'll be doing that on a Saturday. So just keep in mind if something does occur, it'll be on a Saturday. Outside of that, there's an event at the Rec Center this Friday for young entrepreneurs. It's maybe 5 to 8 p.m. Feel free to come out to that. And I think that's all I have for today. So outside of what I shared in our public safety committee updates, if there's anything else that's directed to 5D05, just feel free to let me know.
Any questions for Commissioner Sosada Guzman? Okay, 5D06.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Char McCray, ANC 5D06, Trinidad Carver Langston. I'm going to give a few updates here and feel free to drop any questions you have, but I will drop some links once I finish at the end of this. But been working with DPW to address a lot of illegal dumping that we've seen. Seen it on Orange Street, Maryland Ave, Neal Street, behind Queen Street. So working with DPW on these issues, if your issue is not highlighted, please let me know. If you aren't getting a response from 311, feel free to shoot me an email and we can kind of elevate those concerns. Right now, the kids are in spring break, and I just want to plug that springbreakweek.com is an event hosted by community member Erin Palmer, and she is out here making sure those students that are seniors get their 100 community service hours by May the 1st. So if you know any students that need community service hours right now, this is a perfect time to get them. There are cleanups throughout this entire week, and you can check that out at springcleanupweek.com. I hosted a cleanup this past Saturday, and I want to give a huge shout out to Jenks and Mother Ruckers for their support during this event. I want to give a huge shout out to Jenks. They donated 20 trash pickers and some gloves to the commission. I have checked with the OANC. We are allowed to accept those. More to come there, but we now have 20 additional trash pickers for the community. So feel free, please, to reach out. I need to bring them to the office. They're sitting in my car. Please, no one take them in the meantime, but just saying, they will be at the office soon. But feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Huge shout out to Mother Ruckers for giving the students kind of the feel about entrepreneurship in our community and what that looks like. And I call it Shark Tank times Mother Rucker. So I really appreciate Gwen for all of the support during the event. I know we'll do a little bit more with the kids as the time goes on, but huge shout out there. And hopefully we can continue this as a tradition and spread it into other SMDs as we go forth. During that event, huge shout out to the students too. We collected 145 pounds of trash. Huge shout out to Erin too,
Wow.
because she had a weight that we were able to kind of do that counting with. So it might be something that we get as a commission as well, just so that even with Salvador, we can quantify those numbers beyond bags, just to make that impact even further known. In terms of kind of development in our community, I'm sure since the last meeting you all have seen, Safeway has closed or will be closing. And I want to make sure that everyone knows that please feel free to reach out if you have questions about where to get your meds from. Closest pharmacies are going to be Safeway Pharmacy at 415 14th Street Southeast and 645 H Street Northeast. So please make sure your meds get transferred as quickly as possible and when you need them. On a few items on traffic, DDOT has issued a notice of intent for the 800-900 blocks of Bladensburg Road. So a little bit more adjacent to my area, but they have issued an NOI. I will drop that in the chat as well, just to make sure that folks know. I've heard some issues with street sweeping as well. I am raising those concerns since street sweeping has been missed. And I know a lot of folks have moved their cars, and street sweeping being missed is very frustrating. So I echo those sentiments. When it comes to one last thing, ranked choice voting is here. So I want to make sure that folks know that DC Public Library and DC Board of Elections are hosting many educational events. So if you have questions, if you don't know those answers, please follow those sites and those pages to make sure you are finding out about ranked choice voting in the meantime. And just looking ahead, I wanted to give a few shout outs for a few events. I will be hosting another cleanup on this Saturday, April 18th, 10 a.m. in conjunction with C. Sosa. And that'll be at 845 Bladensburg Road is where we will start. So please, if you're interested in cleaning up, please feel free to come out. We will be hitting the pavement hard there. I also want to point out that we will, there's also going to be a C. Sosa event where they are hosting their monthly CJAN with about gun violence, and that'll be April 29th in our ANC community room. And then looking forward to Saturday, June the 6th, from the Carver Langston side of the community, we are planning a community resource fair, hopefully at Starburst Plaza. So more to come there, and super huge shout out to everyone working on that right now. And then one last plug for the Carver Langston Park. It's in the final permitting stage, and hopefully we'll see some development there starting late spring, early summer. So make sure that you keep an eye out. If you do not follow or know or get those updates from DPR, I will drop that link as well so that you have that, so that you know when that kind of construction noise is set to begin. But thank you all for staying engaged. Super huge shout out to everyone that has showed up to every kind of cleanup and any help that you have given. But I want to finally say, like, thanks to Jenks and Mother Ruckers for all of the help and support. And I'm done for my end.
Thank you, 5D07, 5D08. Are you able to speak now, Commissioner Roblin?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, God. That was a horrible amount of tech difficulties, but yes, I'm here. Thank you so much. So yes.
How do we make Commissioner Roblin present officially?
No, they just made them so present.
Okay.
Yeah. You got something over there.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead,
Oh, so did
Commissioner
you want to
Roberts.
do 5D09 first?
Yes, no, let's go ahead on and do you first and then we'll do Patty on that, okay?
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner. Okay, so
No
I have an
problem.
update from the Trash and Beautification Committee and my SMD update. So our Trash and Beautification Committee has formed a dedicated organizing group so that we can work on long-term sustainable planning for keeping the commission clean and beautified. We also have a especially exciting development that our DPW, Department of Public Works liaison, Inspector Brooks Garrett, has said that she will work with our organizing group. So working together with her should really make a very big difference. So really looking forward to that. We are looking for more people to join the organizing group and to join our beautification and our cleanup working groups. We've been doing cleanups. We've had a couple issues that have slowed us down. But we also an exciting development. We just got notice from Forested, the group that was selected by DPR to work on setting up a food forest at the Trinidad Rec Center, that it's a go. So they will be able to do the work. We were waiting for that go ahead, and now we have it. So this is amazing. Now they're only waiting on DPR to approve the final scope for the food forest, and then they will be hosting community input sessions to gather ideas about the food forest. And we've also just succeeded in planning our first tree walk of the season. We've been a bit slow this year, but we hope to have at least a few more tree walks this season. Tree walks are when we walk an area and our urban forestry guide tells us where we need to plant a new tree and where we need to remove sick trees and plant another. And as Commissioner, oh my God, my mind, as Commissioner Char mentioned, we're planning a resource fair. Hopefully, as she said, at Starburst Plaza, Saturday, June 6th. And if you'd like to join us in any of our ventures, please let me know. I'll put my contact in the chat. We need more people. So for my SMD, I don't have a lot going on in 03 right now. The main project I'm working on now is to work problems out between a group that hangs out most days on Florida and Montello, and neighbors. We have formed an action group to talk with neighbors about the complaints that they have regarding the group, and also an action group to meet with the people in the group and to see how we can help them with resources and whatever else they need. And we intend to really try to help work things out between the neighbors, because there are some, neighbors are not happy, and members of the group. So far, we've met with 2 neighbors. We have not yet met with anyone from the group, but that's coming really soon. And we're trying also to work with the 2 violence interrupters who have been working with the group for many years. So that's about it for me. Thank you so much.
Okay, 5D09.
Hello, everybody. Update. I'm having I got a headache myself. I having a community meeting next month, May the 6th. I would like for all the residents to come out. I am inviting neighboring commissioners and their constituents also. The agenda will be about the closing of 7-Eleven on Benning Road, Safeway, the streetcar, overview on ranked voting, choice voting, update on Langston Golf Course, the Commander Stadium, nearby pharmacy, illegal parking in the area of Brown and Two Rivers, and other community concerns and priorities. So I will be having Brown and Two Rivers sending out newsletters to the parents, and also I'm gonna be sending out emails, the same newsletter to the other commissioners. Hopefully you all can come out. So I'm working on that to see what's next for our community. And I'm also working on getting the voting machines at Brown on either Two Rivers, so people who's in my district and in Single member district 5D07-8 can also be able to have someplace closer to vote. So that's what I'm working on. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, commissioners, for your reports.
6:30 to 8 p.m.
Does anyone have any questions for any of us, any of the commissioners at this time?
Jesus just started.
Going once, going twice? Okay, so now we're opening up for our public safety reports. We have Sergeant Good here. Sergeant Good, are you gonna do the public safety report or Lieutenant Arturo? Okay.
When you have three screens, it's hard to get the clicker. So just to introduce myself, my name is Lieutenant Chanel Good. I was a sergeant here at 5D about 2 years ago, but now I am the lieutenant that is assigned to
Sorry,
PSA
Lieutenant
506.
Good. Sergeant is under your, is where, okay.
Yes, we can fix
It's
it.
okay. I mean, I was that one, so no problems. Can you all still
Sorry.
hear me?
Sorry.
Can you all
Yeah,
still
we
hear
can
me?
hear you.
Okay. So I did do some stats printouts. I was just looking into 506. Specifically, I do deal a lot with the through social and 1401 Oakey Street, like that thoroughfare. And in the last 30 days, we did happen to have two ADWs. However, they both were cleared and closed out by an arrest. As far as any other Part 1 offenses, we definitely don't have any homicides or ADW shootings. We do have a burglary that did occur as well, and that was closed out by an arrest as well. And the robbery that we had, which was on Owen Place, that was actually cleared out by an arrest as well, too. So 506, I think we're doing a great job. For me to just come on 2 months ago as a lieutenant here in the district, I am aware of nuances such as like throw social. We did have an incident there that occurred Saturday night when I was the watch commander, which was the ADW stabbing outside of the establishment, and that was an arrest that was made while we were on scene. And as of right now, we're still in the process with that business, just trying to see if they'll be able to reopen or what it will look like moving forward. So that's all I have, unless anyone has any questions for me, just, or if my counterpart, Lieutenant Otero, has anything additional to add, but that's it.
And I'll
Can I
wait
say
for
something
Lieutenant
real quick?
Arturo.
I can't hear you. What'd you say?
Who's that speaking?
I
I think someone have a question. Says that they were asking if they can ask us something. So if that person can step forward and ask a question.
Hey, I was just gonna ask, there's someone actively breaking bricks in the windows right now on the 1,000 block of 17th Place Northeast. Just wondering if y'all could send MPD. I can't call 911 because I'm using my phone for this meeting.
Okay.
You can hang up and call 911.
Yes,
and then come
because
back.
we're in a meeting.
All right.
I'm actually at home, so I cannot
All right.
just call 911 from my house.
All right.
Okay, just come
Commissioner
back.
Gray has to step away to handle real business.
Stuff feeds going down. But Lieutenant Arturo, do you have anything to add to Lieutenant Good's report?
No, I think additionally, maybe I think it was about 2 to 3 weeks ago, we have a robbery on Montello, and it was at Montello, Mount Olivet, but the suspect was the victim's cousins. So we were able to track him. I'm not sure what his status if he finally got arrested. We did issue an emergency search warrant and search his house. We recovered a weapon and most of the items that were stolen from his cousin. We had identified, of course, the suspect and his partner as well. I'm not sure the status of the case right now, but I know I have multiple people calling me because we were about to declare a barricade, and I think one of you guys called me on the phone when I was on scene, and we have the whole street blocked and establishing a perimeter, trying to establish rapport with the family member to see if we can get him out of the house. Unfortunately, by the time that we were able to get access, one way or another, he escaped. But if he been arrested or not, I don't know. I've been on military leave for about a week, so I don't know the status of the case. I will let you know if you guys still have questions about it. And beside that, I don't think I have anything else. I was looking at the stats, and it looks like we're looking pretty good when it comes down to violent crimes. Just be patient that we're having this issue with the juveniles. I don't think the juveniles affecting that specific area that we are the ANC 5 or the PSA 506. They're more like on the Noma, Egginton area mountain bike trail, which is not 506, but I'm sure that is a concern for everyone in this meeting. Just want to let you know that, our 5D members, other members coming from other district, working with us as an overtime details, and in our federal partners, we are, on top of that. We're doing what we can. Of course, it's got nothing to do with immigration. Everything that we're doing, at least in 5D with the federal task force, it is strictly concentrated in violent crimes, not in immigration.
Okay. Also, question about, kick-ass. Have you all spoken with the owner? Cause I did speak with the previous owner, but there's a new owner. Do y'all have that information?
Yes, I have all that information and we spoke with them. I did a hearing today. What additional information do you need?
The owner's information, contact information, and, because there need to be some safety, protocols in place. If they're
So
gonna
they're
be
having
open.
I'm sorry to cut you off. So they had a hearing today regarding the safety
Mhm.
protocols, the security plan, everything regarding this event. And after the OAG and ABCA makes their decision on the panel and the board, then they will relay it over to us. After that, I do plan to meet with the new said owner one day this week if they have a resolution. So
Mhm.
I do plan to put that on my schedule so that I could speak with them just so that we can have a better working relationship to try to avoid this moving forward into the summer. But literally from Wednesday, April 8th, they just changed to a new owner. So ABCA, they're investigating that as well too to make sure they're just not trying to turn over like their licenses, like doing something else about that. So
Um, okay, maybe we can have a side conversation about that, because I was told that it would happen 45 days ago.
that it will happen.
The, the owner turnover.
Well, yeah, it just happened between the week of April 8th to today. They changed a new owner.
I'm saying the previous
Mhm.
owner said that they changed hands 45 days ago.
Anything before then, I'm not sure. I can just tell you that I know that I've dealt with two separate owners within the last 2 weeks.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any questions? Anyone from the public have any questions for MPD?
I'll
Any
ask.
commissioners?
I'll ask a question, please.
Sure.
Okay. Hello. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for coming to speak with us. Understanding that, you're dealing with ADWs and uh, threats to life, the question I have is, what would you advise neighbors to do who are dealing with ongoing noise complaints? I've heard reports from constituents that they, tried to call the non-emergency MPD services for this issue, and it was not helpful for them in resolving the matter. So, is there any guidance you could give there on like in what situations they could call versus in what situations this would not help, or any kind of guidelines on like what you can and can't do there?
So croissant. Well, I work the midnight tour, which is when the noise at night statute does come into play. I can tell you for sure the overtime unit that always signs up for the Trinidad boxes, which we refers it to, he's always handling the calls for service, anything that comes out. In that case, just call 911 and it'll come up on the board and then we'll send a unit out to handle it. I don't really the 311 thing, I've never told anyone to use that. Just call 911 and we'll handle it in the order of fashion of what we can.
Yeah, also be mindful that when we're talking about the DCMR and we're talking about the DC municipal regulations and the noise at night, there is specific things that we have to proceed in order for us to take some kind of legal action, which is very, very hard for MPD because in order for us to measure the noise, it requires for us to shut down the entire block in order for us to do that. And as far as I know, I haven't heard, at least in probably more than a decade, that we get any MPD member certified to operate a decibel um, electronic device or whatever they call it. It's just we don't have that. So all we do when we get this call is just to respond to the scene if it's after 10 o'clock and advise the person just to lower the volume down. Again, it's so many times that we can do this, but when it comes down to take legal action, it is a little harder for us to enforce that because we don't have that f resource. Also, we don't have the flexibility of shutting down the entire block in order for us to make a accurate measurement of noise if we actually get someone that is certified on that, which I haven't seen in MPD in years, nor with MPD, nor with the DC government.
Okay, thanks for the information. I'll defer to residents if they had further questions, or I don't know if any commissioners had further questions, but I'm seeing a Q&A from Rick, so I'll cede my time.
Mr. Mayor, did you have a question? You can drop it in the Q&A.
I'm sorry. Is Alicia Libate? I'm not sure if I say the last name correctly. I think she sent a message to the chat stating the dispatcher was very disrespectful to Mr. Ellis. She argued with him when he was being professional, very disappointed in how it was treated. Also, when MPD is on the scene, they tell us residents they can't do anything. It's 2 points right there. The dispatcher, they work for the Office of Unified Communication. We have no control about how they operate. We also have some issues with them in which some of them, I guess, that they're feeling to take the best out of them. And so we have to speak with our supervisor to address that type of behavior and get it rectified, but that's something that is out of our hands. Again, that's the Office of Unified Communications. I will have to, if you guys want to complain, we can let you know. But make sure that you guys, next time you call him, this happened, make sure you get the name of the 911 operator and then trying to call in the 311 or the CIC so they can get a hold of a supervisor and then they might be able to get you in contact with the supervisor and you can make a formal complaint. When it comes down to MPD on the scene, again, it will comes to the time, it will come to the complaint, and then the officers can tell you if, in fact, we can proceed or we can't.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Do we you have your hand raised? Did you want to add anything to this conversation?
Yes, my name is Shakira Richardson. I'm one of the program managers from the Department of Licensing and Consumer Protection. And just from my understanding of many of the noise complaints, because I also wanted to reach out to MPD about the business that where they're transferring ownership and all of that. If you can pull the DLCP in on that because licensing is not transferable. So if you're having issues with that business, please loop us in, and we're more than welcome to assist in any way that we can be of service. Again, I'm Shakira Richardson. I'm one of the program managers of the Consumer Protection Unit, and we oversee all of the investigators for the agency. So if we can be of service, please let me know. We're always available. We have investigators available 7 days a week. And also from my understanding of the noise concerns, if it's a noise concern that's originating from a commercial business that may have a license from the Alcohol, Beverage, and Cannabis Administration, so if it's a commercial business that's a tavern or a bar, then you can file a complaint about noise with ABCA directly. And ABCA, they have investigators that are available 7 days a week. And at night also, they have a night shift and they can come out, they have decibel readers and they can assist to the best of their ability for noise complaints for commercial businesses also. Um, so that hopefully can be of service to some of your constituents. But again, I just wanted to offer my service to MPD about that business where the license is being transferred. There's a new owner within the last 45 days. If we can be of service, please let me know.
So I want
Thank
to add, I want to add something about that. Because there have been a transfer of the ownership. And the owners of these businesses need to know that they cannot just hop and skip from one owner to the next without going through the proper channels. And I don't think they know that.
Okay, see, I don't have the address in front of me. I don't have my database up. So the Department of Buildings, Mr. Hazel Crawford pulled me in because I know there were some questions about AI pop also, and that's a case that my team has actively been working on for the last maybe 30 days. So he pulled me in so that I could be of service to just provide any clarity from my agency's perspective. But yeah, I'm not sure. So they may have gone through the proper channels, but if you could please just forward me the information, I'll be more than happy to look into it to ensure that they have done that and they do have the proper license under the current ownership. But again,
it's called Kick-Ass Throw Social, and it's at 1401
Okie Street, right. Yeah, so that's a case that we're working on now also. Our investigator is actively working on that along with MPD, as well as ABCA. So we're aware and we're working on it. But I will check in with the assigned investigator tomorrow to see where he is on his investigation. I know since ABCA and MPD, they've done their due diligence and they, that location is currently closed. So, but we'll still check into the licensing component and the corporate registration to ensure that that's all in alignment prior to the closing of our investigation.
But would y'all mind keeping me in the loop, since that's in my SB, which, my email is 502@anc.dc.gov.
So yeah, upon the completion of our investigation, whatever details we're able to legally divulge, we will. We can share that with you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You have a question?
For the sake of, we're 6 minutes behind, so for the sake of time, I'll skip it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so if we don't have any more questions, we will go to.
Sorry, excuse me.
Yes?
There's just a constituent put a question in the Q&A. I don't know if you want to have them follow up with.
I don't have
There
the
is,
on my page.
it isn't a question, Commissioner Shelby. It looks like it's more commentary. So we'll have to skip that for the sake of time since we're behind.
Okay,
Got it.
all right.
Thank you
so-
to the 5th District. We
Yes,
appreciate you
thank you.
attending.
So much. Okay, we have Lacey Davis from the Executive Office of the Mayor. Thank you for coming, and we are ready.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I have some updates from the mayor's office. The month of April, it's a busy month for us. April 19th, we have Emancipation Day Parade and concert. I want to update you guys. The location has changed. The new location will be at 1301 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest. Some of the artists that will be performing is Gospel Artists Thai Tribute, T.I. Meyer, and some local go-go bands, Black Alley, Backyard Band, and others. April 23rd, Mayor's Interfaith Council meeting will take place. And April 25th, we have the Big Spring Cleanup that will be at the Crummell School. The exact location of our roll-off, it will not be at the Crummell because they are doing construction work and have it closed off. So we have
Nothing, so we'll continue.
Okay, yeah, so we have another location for the roll-off, but 130 people have registered to attend. I believe it will be successful. We have community events also coming up. DC 250 Kids Ball, April 18th, Planet Word, free family-friendly event for children 12 and under. which is part of the Emancipation Day weekend. There's also community engagement with Metro. They having a town hall April 28th, 5:30 to 7 p.m. Um, this is an opportunity for residents to give feedback on bus routes and service improvements. And also, of course, the mayor just released her new budget, Grow DC budget, which has continued investment in public safety, core services like DPW and sanitation, and economic growth and opportunity. Also, I heard earlier there was mention of some trouble in the neighborhood as far as illegal activity and stuff like that. And I think that what the mayor's office is doing with MORCA, the mayor's office returning citizen affairs, uh, may be able to assist. April 17th, they're having a Step Correct professional clothing drive and workshop, 12 p.m. at 899 North Capitol Street Northeast. April 22nd, they're having a Mortgage She event, Strengthening Her Story, at 12 p.m. That will take place at Morca, 2100 Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue in Southeast. Also, there will be on April 24th for open mic night, 6 p.m. A partnership with the DC Commission on the Arts and Humanities that will take place 200 I Street Southeast. And April 30th, there will be a Welcome Home Expo for all returning citizens or those who need employment that will take place at 1 p.m. at 555 12th Street Northwest. And I have an update from our core team walk, which took place March 25th in Ivy City. We did a core team walk in the area, and that area right up on Mount Olivet, that a lot of illegal dumping was taking place. We finally got that cleaned up. So it's a start, but I know it's a constant problem with illegal dumping. That's all I have. Any questions or any more questions for me or any more updates?
Thank you so much, Lacey Davis. You have been an asset, and thank you for cleaning up that area. It was thousands of pounds of illegal dumping up on that hill. So, does anyone have any questions for Lacey at this time? Any commissioners?
Mr. Davis, do you know if there's gonna be a senior fest this year? It's usually in May.
No.
I think that's annual. I'm pretty sure it's going to be one.
So they might have just changed the date.
Yeah, I will email you. I will inquire about that and get that to you by tomorrow.
Perfect, thank you. The seniors at Trinidad Rec were asking.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone in the audience have any questions for Lacey? Okay.
And I have
Thank
links
you.
in the chat. I have links in the chat for everything I was.
He's on. Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, so we want to move on to our Ward 5 council member's office. Adriana Lovelace is here to speak about any and everything in Ward 5.
Got you. Good evening,
Thank you.
everybody. My name's Adriana Lovelace. I'm a constituent service coordinator for Councilmember Zachary Parker's office, and I cover ANC's 5A, C, and D. Currently, the council is on recess.
Can you speak up, Ms. Lovelace? I'm sorry.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, but it's a little faint. And we turned our volume up.
Okay. Let me know if you can hear me. Oh, can't speak English.
We can hear it. We can hear
Go
it.
ahead, go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna have to.
Got you. Okay. The council is on recess currently. Budget oversight hearings start next week on April 20th. It's critical that neighbors take the time to weigh in throughout the budget oversight hearings to ensure neighborhood priorities are heard and considered. You can explore the hearing calendar and submit written testimony or sign up to testify. DPR's budget oversight hearing is on Monday, April 27th. And you can currently now submit written testimony or sign up to testify. DC Emancipation Day is this Thursday, April 16th. Some government services will be modified, including trash and recycling. There'll be no collection on Thursday, and collection slide one day for the rest of the week until Saturday. Emancipation Day Festival, Parade, and Concert will be held on Sunday, April 19th. Lacey just told you that the location has changed. The DC Healthcare Access Trust nominations deadline has been extended to April 22nd. So following the approval of the sale of the Providence Hospital site in Ward 5 last year, residents are now encouraged to nominate experienced community members to serve as trustees of the DC Healthcare Access Trust. This is a $5 million fund created from the sale of the site to support charitable healthcare in DC with a focus on Ward 5. 3 trustees will be selected to manage the funds and advance the trust's charitable purposes. As I stated, the Office of Attorney General has announced they're extending it to April 22nd, and I can drop the qualifications and the nomination form in the chat. Last year, the Office of Planning worked to fully rewrite the district's comprehensive plan for the first time in nearly 20 years. Over the past several months, the Office of Planning has hosted workshops and surveys, and just a few weeks ago, they released a draft of the future land use map. When it comes to Ward 5, the draft proposes some changes, but it also disproportionately misses key opportunities. One positive is the proposal for more development opportunities along Rhode Island Avenue. However, we are disappointed to see while the draft modestly increases housing capacity, it fails to address the legacy of concentrated industrial land in Ward 5. Rather than confronting those current inequities and reimagining these areas for high-density, mixed-use neighborhoods, it preserves the status quo and perpetuates existing inequities into the foreseeable future. There's much more to come on this comp plan. For now, we encourage neighbors to participate in the Office of Planning's open feedback period on the draft. You can explore more of the proposal and share your thoughts on what the future of Ward 5 should be. Like Commissioner McCray has stated, there is an open notice of intent from DDOT for the KIPP DC Northeast Academy Action Plan. Comments are due by May 13th, and you can learn more and share comments on DDOT's website. I'll drop that in the chat. I'd also like to state that we have been in contact with the neighbors at the MO. We recently had a multi-agency meeting with them as well as DOB and DLCP. Working together with the owner as well as these agencies to address their concerns. I'm happy to take any questions or concerns anybody has.
Thank you, Adriana, for all of your updates. I just want to add that the DC 2050 impacts all of our communities. So we encourage everybody to be part of that process. Just because we're not going to see it in by 2050, it's still going to impact us. And you have to make sure that you look at your community, see what the changes are, and if you see something that you don't like, then be part of what OP is doing. Give your suggestions, because they are taking the suggestions where they were. The draft is supposed to come out in September, but I'm talking so much about it because they're talking about high density on New York Avenue at Ivy City, which we are opposing. 10 stories on New York Avenue at Ivy City is just going to overwhelm our already weak infrastructure. So please look at their future names map. They call it the plum, and make sure that you're checking out your communities and seeing what changes are being made. Because if you're not part of that, they're going to make some changes for you, and you might not like it, and then you're going to complain after the fact. So please be involved in this rewrite of the comp plan. Does anyone have any questions for Adriana at this time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Commissioner Sosaida Guzman.
Hi, Ms. Lovelace. Quick questions, 2 for your office. We're having some concerns with one of the properties off of Queen and Holbrook Street. And Ms. Nicole Price is on the call today. Can I loop you in for that matter and see if we can do a site tackle on that issue? It's particularly pertaining to trash, and This building is fairly new since it's been renovated. I think it's been on the block now open to residents for a year or two. But the issue is that developers got trash receptacles instead of a big dumpster for such a large building, and it's causing an overflow and it's flowing out. So we would love to tap your office in for that. And I know I've been saying it, and I'll say it again. Is Councilmember Parker available for a cleanup? We're sponsoring the one in Ivy City on the 25th, and I think it's a great opportunity for the council member to come out. Could you pass that along to him? I know he cares about the litter and trash. I do want to thank him publicly for the litter cans that he got us to get back on Mount Olivet, on the corner of West Virginia and Mount Olivet and Mount Olivet and Montello. So shout out to him for working to get that back for us. But I would love to see him at one of our cleanups in 5D. As you can see, we hold a lot of cleanups in ANC 5D. So he has a lot of options, especially since he lives here too. So I will, if you could just pass it along, we would really appreciate it. I did see him at the rec center the other day. So I know he knows where we're at.
At you. I'll pass that cleanup along, and you can definitely loop me in on the issue with the trash.
Perfect. Thank you, Ms. Lovelace.
Any more questions? Anyone in the audience? Anyone here that's in person have any questions for Adriana Lovelace?
Well, I don't have any questions, but my name is Monica Brown. I'm just happy to say I'm a landlord on Mount Olivet Road.
Oh,
So,
hey.
all right. We were here earlier, but couldn't get in.
You left the front door.
But we did come back to the park and happened to see him coming in and ran inside. So anyway, we want to thank you for that effort, keeping that on the table. I think DPW came out like last week and took a bunch of that trash, the illegal dumping. But right now, the trash cans, they are so damaged, no tops, falling apart. And I think we need to address those owners to get them to do the right thing with the trash can. And they're literally putting the trash on the street up there. So I'm glad to see that they will be coming up there for the cleanup. And I wanted to thank Ms. Lovelace for her assistance, and I was hoping to meet Ms. Lacey to get some continued consistency up there, maybe get more lights, more cameras to, curb that illegal dumping.
Yes, ma'am.
We have a lot of rodents up there as well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And you just Miss Lacey, Miss Lacey just spoke a few minutes ago. But we're going to continue the effort, and actually, when we have the community cleanup on the 25th, I see you still. We have the cleanup on the 25th. There's going to be some more effort.
Focus over there.
Yeah.
We'll get volunteers to go over there.
Yeah.
Yes, Lacey
yeah.
left his contact info in the chat, so someone could read that for her.
But they have Lacey's information.
Quick question, Skip, before we move on.
It's falls on trash. I filed several reports at this point regarding 840 18th Street Northeast. That's that sort of dump that it was supposed to be a building, but they didn't. There's sofas there, etc. Someone apparently came out to look at stuff. I don't know which department a few weeks back. I haven't seen any action, and I haven't been able to find anything. They've closed out my tickets without any apparently any response or notations, and it's getting worse. There's tires, the fence is collapsing, etc.
And where is this at?
840 18th Street Northeast. It's the corner of I and 18. They tore down a building, excavated, they ran out of money and backfilled, and there's lots of debris and everything else there. It's an eyesore, and it brings rats, and it's a dump.
Did you hear that, Adriana?
I did. I took down the address. Also, I put my information in this chat. If you could send these closed out numbers to me, I could definitely escalate that so they can
forward the closed out tickets to Miss Lovelace. We'll follow up. Thank you.
Skip, I'll send you the information.
And then I also wanted to say one last thing. Safeway as well as DIMPAT was invited to this meeting. As you know, we're in council recess, so there's a lot of people out. The message we got from Safeway is this is a new process, so there's no information on who will be there once Safeway leaves or what they're doing with the site. But when we know more information, we will share that with the community.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Did you hear that, Commissioner McCray? Okay.
Say that one more time, sorry.
Huh?
Say that one more time. Like, I'm getting some feedback from the folks speaking a little bit further in the back. So if y'all could, can you say it one
That
more
was
time?
what Miss Lovelace said. Did you hear what Miss Lovelace said?
About the Safeway.
No. No, I did not.
So Safeway, both the developer as well as DIMPAT were invited to this meeting from Councilmember Parker. From what we've heard is this sale is new, so there's no ongoing, like what's going to happen to the site. They don't know what's happening yet. When they know more, they'll let us know and we can let the community know.
Miss Lovelace, what do you mean by sale?
I'm sorry?
What do you mean by sale?
What did I say?
Was the
sale?
site sold?
I don't mean sale. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry to say
Thank
that.
you.
I will clarify that right now. I don't mean sale.
Thank you.
The closing of
Perfect.
Safeway.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
For the clarification. All right.
Thank you for
Okay,
that.
so
Okay.
Can we say thank you to the board file?
Huh?
Can we say thank you to her?
thank you so much, Adriana Lovelace, for your report. We really appreciate it from the Ward 5, Jackson Parker's office. And, now we're going to go into our requested presentations. Hazel Crawford is our Ward 5 liaison with DOB, Department of Buildings. I don't see you anymore. Where there you go. Hazel Crawford.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hey. Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you, everyone. My name is Hazel Crawford. I'm the Ward 5 liaison here at the Department of Buildings. I dropped my contact information in the chat and also the generic important links to housing property maintenance inspection link, the legal construction inspection request, and also the vacant property maintenance inspection request. I'm gonna tackle two things, and that's vacant property and noise. A lot of neighbors and also commissioners have been emailing the department regarding expediting vacant property determinations. I want to make sure I'm clear that the agency will not and does not expedite any determination. So I understand that some neighbors may come to commissioners or even a council member's office and say, hey, I'm going through this hardship. I need to get this determination. I need to get this property reclassified. I empathize with that. We empathize with that, but we cannot expedite it. So I want to make sure that's clear because, again, a lot of times we get a lot of angry neighbors and they want to expedite it. They want to find a way to just not go through the process, but it doesn't work like that. Our team has to take the time to review all the necessary and supplemental documentation that's submitted to us. Noise. MPD and also DLCP spoke to it. Handling noise is layered as the neighbors at the Mo Apartments have gone through what it means for each an agency to come in and try to investigate how to hold a business accountable for basically the loud noises that goes on through the nights. Commissioner Chobley, you're on a thread with us, DLCP, and
Yes,
APCA.
I've read the thread. Thank you.
Yeah, so, as you can see, it's layered. All right. NPD has their way of going about things, DLCP has their way of going about things, and DLB we also have our own process. And what happens is we collaborate on how we can ensure that everyone is held accountable and that the neighbors are having a good quality of life in the home that they chose to live in. So again, I'm happy to meet with anyone regarding the DC municipal regulations, regarding noise regulations, and go through which agency is responsible for what. Um, and again, with the weather warming up, illegal construction, always remember that legal construction hours is permitted Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. without any special permit. Work occurring outside of those hours requires an approved after hours permit. Again, if you believe construction is taking place outside of those legal hours, please reach out to me directly. If you can take pictures, that I welcome that. If you can take a video, I also will welcome that as well. Um, yeah, and that's all I have for you guys. If I'm open, I put my telephone number here if you guys want to schedule some one-on-one time with me. And I'm also in the community if you want me to come out to see some things. I know a lot of neighbors said there are some properties and commissioners also that have some trash. Again, please send that over to me. I'll get an inspector out to investigate, and we could issue a NOI, or we can hold them folks accountable accordingly. Okay. Open to any questions or concerns.
Friendly reminder to drop questions in the Q&A if you're on the Zoom.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the commissioners for Hazel? DOB or fire liaison? Yes.
Hi, Mr. Crawford. Thank you for coming. Just a quick question, I think, just to give residents a good understanding of how you move. How often or how often do you see resolution in some of these vacant properties? And when it comes to the process of actually going about submitting a request for inspection of a property to getting a report or a confirmation of that inspection, how long does that usually look like? I know sometimes it'd be different based on determining factors, but typically, what can residents expect from these processes?
Thank you, Commissioner, for that question. Like you said, it's layered also. It's a lot of determining factors. So, one thing we take into consideration when we review the inspection report is if you mention that squatters are there, if it's accessible to the community, if our friends at MPD are actively at the property and they've come to us to say like, hey, this property is a nuisance and it holds criminal activity, we'll go out and investigate and we'll try to find the owner, we'll placate it. And if the owners do not respond to us in a given time frame, we will come out, we will abate it, meaning we will board it up. Again, I cannot speak to the timeline because every situation is different, but in situations where there are squatters or criminal activity taking place, we will take control of it, abate it, and then we will also build the property owner for us going out to board up the property. If it's something standard, if a property owner is wanting to sell their property, by the time we get that request to come out to inspect it and placard it, and we send out a determination letter, we typically give them about 30 days to respond to us. And if they do not respond to us, then we will reclassify it with OTR and it'll start the other enforcement process where their property taxes will come up, which we hope that will bring them to the table to say, hey, I'm sorry I missed this, but this is what's going on with the property.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else, any other commissioners that have a question for Hazel? DOB, Department of Buildings, Ward 5 liaison?
Yeah, I'll just briefly state, thank you, Mr. Crawford, for coming to this meeting. As you mentioned, I've been looped in on what's become a fairly involved discussion between the residents at the Mo and yourself and some other agencies. Just wanted to state that I may be taking you up on that offer of a meeting in case I have further questions. Also, if any residents are still on the call and have questions for Mr. Crawford, I encourage you to ask. Um, so I guess turns out more of a comment than a question, but did you have any further insight on timeline on resolution of that issue as it relates to DOB's purview that you can share here?
Yeah, sure. Like I told Mr. Ellis in the thread,
Mm-hmm.
the property is compliant with us through zoning regulations. We passed it over to DOCP, which they did their investigation, and on their side,
Okay.
they came into compliant. There's nothing else for us to do in that situation. We came out twice to
Okay.
investigate and inspect. There was no violation. So there's nothing else for us to do.
Okay, so just for clarity, the process here would be DOB comes to inspect for code violations, but then they can pass to DLCP if there could be a license violation. Is that more or less right?
No, so essentially,
Oh,
when
okay.
we get the property maintenance request or noise, and a request to inspect for noise, we come out and we say no violation, it stops there. It
Okay.
literally stops there. So what takes place is, it's like, okay, what else can we do to kind of like hold them accountable for the noise? So essentially, the Department of Buildings will do our background research to make sure they're compliant on all aspects with us. And
Okay.
we'll loop in DLCP because they also are part of the noise ordinance. We'll ask them to, hey, the community is having this issue. Do you guys mind investigating to make sure they're compliant on your end? APCA does their thing. And then that's how we collaborate. We can just simply ask our partner agencies, like, hey, this is the issue. The
Okay.
community is saying, what do you guys think from your end? And are they compliant with you guys? So we could just bring them to the table because we're not in the business of forcing people. And like I mentioned
Sure.
in thread, as I talk with the property owner, they're in conversations of trying to soundproof their business. What that means is they'll have to do
Okay.
some reconfiguration, which means that as they acknowledge, they know to come to us before anything. And if
Right.
they need
Okay.
help with that process, I'm here to help them and walk them through that process. But until then, they should not be trying to reconfigure anything without coming to us and going through the proper steps.
Okay. Thank you. So
Okay.
just to make sure I'm understanding, it sounds like you didn't find a violation under your authority, but the property owner would need to consult with you to make, modifications for sound reasons.
Yeah, they'll need to get the proper
Okay.
permits to reconfigure or to add additional soundproofing measures. They need to come to us first to see if they need a permit to do anything with their property when it comes
O-
to alterations and repairs.
Okay. So you didn't find a violation, but you chose to loop in DLCP and ABCA.
Well, they were already on the thread.
Or that's true. Yeah, sorry. That's okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Thank you for the information. If I get further constituent questions, I may follow up with you, but
Cool.
I'll cede my time to other commissioners or members
Okay.
of the public. Thanks.
No problem.
Thank you, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions?
Yes, I have a question. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. I want to give a huge shout out to Mr. Crawford. I know you get tired of my emails, so just in advance, thank you. Who issues a certificate of occupancy? Who would be is that DOB or is that DCLP? That's just a follow-on to our question, to the question I had emailed you about in reference to the 1,000 block and kind of some damage to some development to an existing property structure.
We will issue the certificate of occupancy.
All right. And what would stop the issuance of that?
That's a layered question as well, and I'm happy to speak with you one-on-one about that.
Okay, cool. I'll circle back via email then.
Yeah, for sure. And I can send you the full fact sheet of how that enforcement goes when it comes to revoking a CFO. Yeah, and that process in itself.
Okay, cool. I'll circle back offline. Thank
Cool.
you again.
No problem. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Hazel, for spending time with us tonight and giving us some information and answering everyone's questions. We appreciate you. And I guess you have some work
Cool.
set out for you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys as always. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford.
Bye-bye.
All right, next we have Open City Advocates, Penelope Spain.
Good evening. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. So thank you for having me here. I'm super excited to be here with you all. I don't have a formal presentation tonight, just wanted to share a little bit about me and about the work that I do, and really more to save any time we have for questions. But I just want to first, again, say thank you all for the service of the ANC commissioners and even all of those who are in attendance, just coming out for ANC meetings. I have been a resident here in Washington, D.C. for nearly 25 years and have been working. I was the co-founder and have continued working with Open City Advocates for the last 22 years. So I really appreciate the local level and kind of working to make our communities safe and strong and connected. So as a little bit of background, at Open City Advocates, we provide holistic legal representation for children after they have been sentenced in juvenile court, and once they have been committed to the Department of Youth Rehabilitation Services, which runs the Youth Services Center, which I believe is in your wards, your ward. And so I really work in the deep end of the juvenile justice system. I'm really very familiar with the rehabilitation services that are offered or actually not offered sufficiently here in the district. Also really aware of kind of the challenges of addressing public safety when aspects of the public safety system are out of our control. So for example, I'm not sure how many of you know, but the juvenile probation department, for example, is under federal control and is not something that we have oversight of here in the district. So shortcomings that happen in the probation level oftentimes result in young people further penetrating into the juvenile justice system to the point that they are then committed to the Department of Youth Rehabilitation Services. And it's at that point, so late in the game, shall we say, that the city agency is more in control of the young people. So one final bit just about the work that I do. When I started Open City Advocates 21 years ago, there was no right to legal counsel for young people who were committed to DYRS. Many of you may know that young people can be committed to the city agency to DYRS until age 21. And DYRS essentially has rather unfettered control over the placement and services children receive during that time. So that could, for example, a young person who might have gotten ensnared in the juvenile justice system at age 13, 14, they would have, potentially upwards of 6 years under supervision by DYRS without legal counsel. And during that time, DYRS can make decisions as to whether to incarcerate, reincarcerate, send to residential treatment centers thousands of miles away from DC, group homes, heading back to home, all of those. So really, DYRS was in sole control of the young people without a lot of oversight, without any judicial oversight at least, other than what we as a city could provide to ensure that DYRS was doing its best job possible. So that's a little bit about me and the work that we do at Open City Advocates. Some of you may have seen me on the news recently, just trying to address the juvenile curfew situations and the challenges that the district is facing. I'm happy to answer questions and really hear comments about that. It's a complicated issue. Or anything else that you're seeing in your communities or that you're concerned with in how our legal systems are working or not working. Any messages I can carry back to the work that I do, I'm happy to really hear comments. So I think with that, I'll just open it up for questions or comments.
Thank you so much, Penelope. Does anyone from the commission have questions? Okay, Commissioner Associated Guzman has a question.
Hi, Ms. Spain. Thank you for coming out. Quick question, just for clarification purposes, so we're a little more educated on your work. what kind of youth are initially engaging you in terms of who you can actually work with? Like what who can approach your organization, and what are actually some things that kind of deny you the opportunity to work with youth when they're in certain situations that we see today?
Sure. What a great question. So, young people, now that we have established the right to legal counsel for these children who are committed to DYRS, we do receive court referrals. So that's where many of our court or our cases come from. We also really go by word of mouth. Oftentimes we're at the Youth Services Center or at New Beginnings, or are in other areas where, a correctional officer may pull us aside and say, hey, this young person is really struggling. Do you have capacity to work with them? We also do accept, phone calls, referrals from parents in the community. On occasion, we'll represent a parent, but that's very rare. Almost always, our representation is of the children directly. In terms of the children who we engage with, they come to us through various. They've all had their own history. I would say that about 90% of the young people have been through the child welfare system in some form or fashion. So we're really seeing, that when children experience trauma, if their needs are not met, if that trauma goes unaddressed, then those are the young people who we typically see penetrating the deep end of the juvenile justice system. There's also cases where young people are failing or out of compliance on juvenile probation. And in those situations, again, probation is a little bit of a black box. I can't see in there. I can't see what's happening. We don't have data. We don't really have good oversight, again, because this is a federal agency with federal dollars. So we as district residents don't have a chance to really kind of push back and say, well, if we made certain improvements to our probation system, maybe young people would not penetrate as deeply as being committed to DYRS. And then there's other situations for young people who have repeat offended or more serious crimes. Even if it is just their first offense, it's not, out of the norm for them to be committed to DYRS at that point. Who we do not see, who I am most worried about, are actually our young people who have been sent out of state to residential treatment centers. We oftentimes say once you're out of state, you're out of mind. And if a young person has gone out of state without a post-sentencing attorney who is really kind of monitoring their progress, their care while they're in those facilities, they can really languish. And it really is incumbent upon DYRS and the caseworkers there to be checking in on the young person and to be, bringing them back to the district when they're ready to do so. But sadly, if you have a care coordinator who's not on top of that, we've literally had cases where children are like forgotten in these facilities or have no way of advocating for themselves to say, I've been here for 6 months, I've finished my program. DYRS is not responding when I'm saying I'm ready to come home. My counselor is calling DYRS and getting no response, things of that sort. So those are the children who I am most concerned with. I'm very concerned also, though, with the conditions currently at the Youth Services Center and New Beginnings. I know that most of these children come from all 8 wards, typically, though, wards 5, 7, and 8. I see them as our constituents, right? And I really do plead for those of you in Ward 5 to see the Youth Services Center as a place where concern should be placed, and to know what's happening there, because the treatment of our young people, they're not getting the education services that they need. They're not getting the mental health services. Some of them have been committed to the agency and are waiting for over 3 months for their placement. That's really subjecting our young people to the trauma of incarceration without providing them the services they need. And then sadly, when they come home, because they will come home, they will at very least age out of the system by age 21, they are back in our communities, in our neighborhoods. And we wonder, why they're coming back more angry, more frustrated, more disconnected. So the work that I do is really to try to help them re-enroll in school, get stable housing, reconnect with families. All of those things that are so important for stabilizing a young person and honestly to stabilize the entire community.
Thank you, Penelope. One quick question. We are aware that URS have some deficiencies and have been having some deficiencies. What is the youngest youth that's there? The DYRS is actually in my SMB, and I'm aware from what's going on inside to what's going on outside. But how are the youth getting any help if the staff and if the facility or the programming, if none of that is the way it should be? I mean, it looks good on the website, but it's not what it should be. What resources are being implemented to help the youth? Just improve their quality of life.
I'll be completely honest with you. Like I said, I've been doing this work for 21 years. I started this work when Oak Hill Youth Center was still open, and that was a horrific juvenile facility out in Laurel, Maryland. Once that was shut down in 2005, I think, maybe between 2005 and 2008, there was a great number of changes. And I've seen the system improve tremendously since then. Sadly, over the last 3 years, I think we have flown backwards faster than I have ever seen. I have never felt the horror of how we're treating our young people as keenly as I do now, other than those first early days when Oak Hill Youth Center was open. So,
what is the youngest? The youngest you have at the youth service center?
Yeah, so I don't have access to all of the information for all of the young people. I only have access to the clients who we have, just due to juvenile confidentiality. I do know that recently there was a 12-year-old there. That was the youngest that I had heard. I myself have a 13-year-old, and you just realize how incredibly young that is. Just the so it's frightening. Here in DC, we don't have any laws other than in terms of how young a young person can be when we charge them in juvenile court, but we do have a law that the minimum age for incarceration is 10 years old, which to me is horrifying, but that's another matter. And I will say,
are they still sleeping in the classrooms? Because I remember at the oversight hearings,
yes,
there was some information that was disclosed that there was so many children in the detention center that they're sleeping in the classroom.
Yeah, so that was going on. I'm not sure if that is the case today. However, in the mayor's budget that recently came out, I did see a line item for additional beds to be built both at the Youth Services Center and New Beginnings. I will say that additional beds is not the answer in my opinion. I think what is causing the overcrowding at the Youth Services Center is a failure to treat and appropriately move the youth who are committed to DYRS through the system. So as I mentioned earlier tonight, young people are waiting upwards of 2 or 3 months for their placement. So if we got that right, if we moved those children should not be in that facility. Youth Services Center should be for pretrial children and children who are charged as adults, Title 16, which is where they're housed right now. So I guess I'm just wanting folks to know that although overcrowding is a problem, there are other mechanisms, other levers that we can pull to ensure that that population continues to move and vacate beds as opposed to simply building more beds. Those of you who are long-term DC residents know that we but we only lock up Black and brown children in our city. We have never, in my 21 years, committed a white child to the Department of Youth Rehabilitation Services. So this is a racial justice issue to me.
Would you mind coming back in a couple of months and giving us some updates?
I would not mind at all. I would be happy to do so.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you for all you're doing in Ward 5. It was great to listen into your meeting tonight.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for coming. Does anyone
you.
have any questions for Penelope?
Ms. Span, can you just drop your contact info in the chat if you
Yeah.
haven't already done so?
Absolutely. Happy to do that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mhm.
If there's no questions, no more questions, we will go to our consent calendar. Yes.
It's more technological. People keep fading out, and at least for the audience, at least for me, I can't hear like her about half is missing. I don't know what's causing that, but she's clear for some points and then not clear.
Well, it might be them not being close to their
It could
speaker.
be. I don't know, but I have the same problem with you. I can hear Salvador, but especially when you're looking downward, I can't hear what you're saying.
Well, that might be you. You might need to come closer.
Feel free to come closer.
Yes,
Mr. Keith.
come closer. Can you all hear us?
I don't have to.
Feel free to come closer.
Come
And,
closer,
if you
it's
wanna-
just us.
Yeah, if you want to pull up a chair, by all means.
I thought maybe the speaker, can you turn the speaker on?
It's
Well,
up all the
if you
way.
can't hear us, it might be the system.
I know the air is going.
Background. It
Oh,
goes in and out.
If I could just add, it's hard to also hear the folks in the room from our standpoint in the hybrid space, just as a
they're not
note,
gonna hear you.
as we go
And
forward,
then it's-
because we
and
can't
it's
hear
hard
them
for us
either,
to
so
kinda hear you.
it's
you
both.
all too, so.
Um,
It might be a technical glitch.
It's the AC release.
Mhm.
Yeah, Chairwoman, you said that we have consent calendar items.
Yes, we have consent calendar items, two items, the admin consultant timesheet for $506. And the communication consultant timesheet for $459. So I move that we approve these two timesheets for admin and communication comms consultant timesheet. Do I have a second?
Second by Commissioner G. Campbell.
And Commissioner Chovy, can you do a roll call, please? Thank you.
Yeah, we'll roll call on the motion to accept those two timesheets. 5D01, I vote aye. 5D02,
Aye.
5D03,
Aye.
5D05,
Aye.
5D06,
Aye.
and 5D09.
Aye.
Okay,
So the
motion
ayes have
passes.
it. Yes, the ayes have it, the motion passes. And now we're gonna go through our voting actions. We have established ANC 5D bylaw review committee by Commissioner Salem.
Yes, I'll make this motion quick. And we can have a discussion as necessary, but this is an opportunity just to open up a committee so as to review and update our bylaws to include some standard procedures, best practices, and some items that we haven't discussed as a commission via the bylaws. We have done certain things in the past, but it's nice to get something on paper, especially with the this term coming to an end and January 1st. This gives an opportunity for the next commission to be well suited for success. So I move that we establish the ANC 5D bylaw review committee and open it up to nominations for folks to lead the committee. I would love to see two people. Like I don't mind being myself, but I would like to move that we establish the ANC 5D bylaw review committee first. Can I get a second? Second by Commissioner G. Campbell.
Can we get roll call?
Yeah, absolutely. So the motion is on the floor. 5D01, I vote aye. 5D02,
Aye.
5D03,
Aye.
5D05,
Aye.
5D06,
Aye.
and 5D09.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you. The ayes have it. So
And
we will be.
is there also, sorry, go ahead.
We will be establishing an ANC 5D bylaw review committee. And Commissioner McCray, did you want to discuss or you want to make a comment?
Just a comment, what is the committee makeup? Is it just commissioners or is it for the actual community as well?
I think the committee can be composed of anyone, but leading the committee is what I was referencing. So I would like to see 2 commissioners lead the committee itself. Yeah.
And is that being established? Yeah. No, I heard. Is that established tonight, or we're going to discuss, vote on that in the next meeting? I just want to understand the process here.
Want to talk about the process?
Whatever you suggest, Chairwoman.
Okay, well, we can talk about it in our COW and then establish whatever policy and procedures to put into this committee at our COW.
Maybe that's what the committees talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Does that sound fine?
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Okay.
I think that sounds awesome.
I gotta step away because I got in my car.
Okay. All right, and Commissioner McCray, you have something about a public service commission oversight that you want to talk about?
Yes. Yes, so I wanted to bring forth a resolution, and this resolution is for the resolution on Public Service Commission oversight, the utility rate increases, and the need for immediate relief. I know this is a bit delayed, but just wanted to make sure that we put it on record that we want the Public Service Commission to take immediate and actionable steps in terms of reducing those rate increases, and just reaffirming the urgency of action. So the major thing about this is just speaking to the increased bills that folks have seen from December 2025, just talking about expansion of energy efficiency programs, expansion of solar programs, and then expansion of utility assistance programs, and just development of a comprehensive plan for public service when it comes to Washington Gas and kind of PEPCO for the electric, so that folks aren't in a bad spot. So that's what this resolution is about.
So I have a question. So would this be a resource that we will be providing as a commission?
No. So the plan for the resolution is for it to go to the council, the Public Service Commission, the Office of the People's Council, and any relevant stakeholders like Washington Gas and PEPCO Electric.
And who would be responsible for this oversight?
The oversight should ideally come from the chair of the Public Service Commission, which is kind of in charge of making sure that it will go down to council to make sure. And I know they just recently passed something to prevent folks from getting their electric and gas shut off, but ideally they would reassert this need to make sure that there's more programs to assist with that, whether it's solar programs or just an overall energy efficiency plan for the district in general that makes sure that it does not increase our electric bills and we're not getting those small admin costs that eventually add up.
So does this resolution, does it duplicate any services that's already that's already established in the district?
It's not creating anything. It's more so asserting the need for immediate relief to residents.
Okay. Commissioner Choden?
Yeah, I will speak factually to the resolution for a second to try to answer your question. I'm being very careful with what I say. All changes to retail electricity rates need to be approved by a state regulatory authority. In DC, that's the Public Service Commission. This resolution, as I understand it, urges action from the DC Public Service Commission on that matter. I'm not going to be voting. I'm going to be abstaining. I thank Commissioner McCray for her work on this resolution, but as some of you know, I work for the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, so this would be a conflict of interest for me.
And I understand, so my thing is, if there's some kind of way for, people to get some kind of relief, or the residents to get relief, how would this help residents get relief? Like, how would this resolution help our neighbors get relief from high electric bills or gas bills or whatever? How
Okay,
would this
so
be put in place so that folks can get help?
ideally there would be some type of rebate for any appliances that you have. If it, I can't say that it would be immediate relief, but I can even add in a section to say a review of areas to expand the relief that is being requested. So maybe there's an expansion of what some of the programs that already exist that might not hit every income level, because a lot of these programs are very income restrictive, whereas a lot of folks that are experiencing these hikes, you might not fall within those income levels. So I just from the standpoint of kind of the equitability across the board, just kind of expanding it across further income levels without making sure that the folks that need it the most need it. But I know across the board, the costs have gone up. And I know as we get into these summer months, with the way it's about to be 90 degrees in April, I think we're in for a rough summer as well. Even though we experienced snowcrete in the winter, I think we're going to experience some extreme weather this summer. And if we can kind of combat both of those with this, I think it would be helpful. But I can add a line in, that would be easy, just to say, just making sure that it's clear that we want to see some type of resolve from this.
Yeah, and also if we can add this to our newsletter, and so it can be staple on the newsletter every time the newsletter go out, so that, folks know about what's going on, and there's something out there that can help them. But I appreciate that. Thank you, and I'll be looking forward to seeing the resolution. All right, well, community feedback and questions, which means we are at the end of our meeting.
Wait, I'm sorry, did we vote on that resolution?
We have not voted yet. I was just about to ask that same question.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Is it okay if I move to vote on it? No,
Okay.
you're good.
Did you make the motion,
I
Commissioner?
moved.
We still got Commissioner G. Campbell.
Okay, so
Then
we
added-
got another.
Yeah, we got that.
two.
one, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
All right,
Okay.
I move that we adopt the resolution on Public Service Commission oversight, utility rate increases, and the need for immediate relief, with the addition that was suggested by Commissioner Rhodes to ensure that we see some type of feedback or in addition to make sure that people can see the immediate relief. So adding in a statement to want to see that portion. So that is the motion on the table. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, motion is on the floor to support Commissioner McCray's resolution. I'm going to do roll call. 5D01, I am abstaining. 5D02,
Aye.
5D03,
Aye.
5D05,
Aye.
5D06,
Aye.
and 5D09.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries with 5 ayes and 1 abstention.
Thank you. And we have another resolution that we put on the floor by
Yes.
Commissioner G. Campbell.
So, the resolution that I asked for a vote is for me to get machines at Brown Elementary or at, Two Rivers Elementary School.
Okay, is there any discussion or is there a second for the motion?
Any discussions?
We need a second first. I'll second.
Okay.
And then we can open the discussion. So I know we need to add a little bit more content to this resolution in terms of alternatives if we can't get a voting site to be located at Brown Elementary. Was there anything else that we needed to amend to this resolution to pass it tonight?
It looks good to me.
Okay, because I know it's still in draft form, but being that we'll add amendments, we can
Yeah.
add it on the proper letterhead. Okay, that was my only question or comment.
Okay.
It does look like Ms. Diggs has her hand up.
Who?
Say that again.
Oh, Ms.
Ms.
Diggs.
Diggs.
Oh.
She's one of our seniors. If you can,
I've allowed her to
yeah.
talk.
Hi, Ms. Campbell. Thank you so much. So you're opting for Brown to be reinstated as a voting precinct. This is a wonderful thing. Problem is the reason why it closed, unfortunately, was because of they said the Board of Elections said low turnout. But it would be nice to have it back in play as a voting site. I would greatly appreciate it. And just by the way, speaking, Commissioner McCray, thank you so much. Everything you're doing doesn't just work for your constituents, it seems to work for everyone. And that's really how this commission should work for all. Thank you so much, everyone.
So Ms. Diggs, so I'm gonna fight tooth and nails to get it there because this year is critical for
Yes.
voting and we need everybody to come out. And I know like it's some seniors in our neighborhood that is not gonna walk up the Rosedale. Some don't even have transportation, especially that the trolley is gone. Because the last voting time I had to go up Trinidad. So I
Yes.
really want them to bring it back so you all can come up there and vote because this is a critical voting year that we need everybody to come out. And I truly
totally
believe that
agree.
this year gonna have a high turnout.
Yes,
I believe this year's gonna have a high turnout.
I totally agree. I don't know what I don't know if you want to call the Board of Elections, but what it would take to have them reinstated as the precinct that it often was. It was precinct 78. Used to work there
So I
myself
have-
and intending on
So I
working
have
this
reached
election
out
as
to
well.
them. So I did reach out to boards of election, so I'm waiting to hear back from them. So then if I don't hear back from them in the next 2-3 days, that's when I'm going to reach back out to them and I'm going to actually add the other commissioners on to the email, but I am waiting to hear back from them to see what kind of guidance that I can have on how we can proceed to move forward of getting that in our single
All
member
right.
district.
If you need someone to speak up for that, I will definitely be available.
Okay, no problem, I got you.
And also, we still need to be doing more training on the ranked choice voting. That's very important because if we don't get that right, it's not gonna be right.
I have a bit of a problem with that actually. I think that this would not be the election to make any kind of change, is how I see it. You know, we're looking at someone that's waiting for you to give them ammunition.
Exactly.
Which you cannot be mad if they shoot you if they give them the ammunition. No.
I know, but we don't have at this point.
So we're going to teach everybody we can to deal with ranked choice voting. For this time. I'm just so sorry that they intended it for this particular election. But thank you so much for everyone.
Yes. And if you can get it up there at Brown or what is the other?
Two Rivers.
Two Rivers. Maybe you could have some ranked choice voting training up there and have the senior citizens come up there. Because everybody is on the same page. Everybody want to do it the same way and it's going to people is gonna get in that we don't wanna get in.
Okay. All right.
Can I say that?
You certainly can. This
I'm
is
just
still
saying.
America. You certainly can.
As our shadow parliamentarian, I'll say that we definitely went over the 3-minute discussion period for this. So we have a vote on motion on the floor. Madam Secretary.
Yeah. Okay, motion's on the floor, doing roll call. 5D01, I vote aye. 5D02,
Aye.
5D03,
Aye.
5D05,
Aye.
5D06.
100% aye.
Nice. 5D09.
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it.
Right. And do we have any more resolutions tonight?
No, ma'am.
Okay, great. So are y'all ready to adjourn this meeting? Is everyone ready to adjourn this meeting?
Can we wait like 30 minutes?
You have any questions from the audience? Any questions from the audience?
I just have one note that technically speaking, there should have been an amendment to that before you voted on it. That's a parliamentarian thing, because technically you have to take it the way it is. As you all discussed it, you edit it. Technically speaking, you should have done an amendment to it to fix the missing school or a location that's available, something like that. And then voted on that and then voted on the.
So it looks like we'll be doing this again in May. But you have one for Brown Elementary.
You wanna be the parliamentarian?
I'm done before.
Okay.
We'll talk.
We'll talk.
Make a motion.
Okay, so I move that we adjourn 5D commission meeting, public meeting for tonight at 9:24. Can I get a second? Second by.
Second.
Guzman and Commissioner McCray.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Motion carries. Yeah.
Thank
All
y'all.
right,
Thank you to
thank
our
you.
interpreters. We appreciate your
Thank
service.
you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks all.
Have a
Bye.
good night,
Night,
everybody.
everybody.
Have a great night.
Good night, commissioners.
Take care.